If you're a real estate agent and you're tired of cold calling, door knocking, and spending money on ads, then subscribe to this podcast. We discuss leveraging the power of YouTube for your real estate business and how these strategies earned us over $1 million in GCI our first year in real estate. My name is Levi Lascsak and my partner is Travis Plumb. Let's get started. We are live. Yep, we are live. So welcome to the Real Agents. And this is something this is today the test run of what we're doing on the live stream. So, we've been hosting live weekly rooms on podcast on Clubhouse. You see, maybe I'm not cut out for this live thing. No, Clubhouse. So we've been hosting weekly live rooms on Clubhouse. However, we're thinking about consolidating that to this so we can get some more face-to-face interaction and also, reach a little bit more of the audience. So if you're watching online right now, or if you're back in the waiting room, I see you, Lori and Bill. I'm going to bring you up here in a minute. We can open up the discussion, but I want to get into the main topic offhand. First of all, so the first thing, what we wanted to discuss today was, attraction versus a pursuit-based marketing. And, here's the problem. I've been in pursuit-based sales pretty much my entire life, or at least my working career, not my entire life, but my working career. The problem with that is that, this is the whole reason why sales training, sales books, sales material, sales conferences, becoming a good salesperson, why all that training exists is because usually you're in a pursuit-based format where you're reaching out, you're outbound, you're going after clients, you're pursuing them one way or another. So for me, I started out sales in a health club, right? With my good friend, Michael Reese. I've known Michael Reese for quite a long time, well over 20 years. We actually started out selling gym memberships. Well, all we did all day for 12 hours a day, almost pretty much, 10 to 12 hours a day, was we made phone calls. The whole goal was to get 5 appointments the next day. That was it. So you could literally make 10 hours of phone calls just to try to get 5 appointments. And that means 5 appointments of people that committed to you to come in to tour the gym the very next day. And if you got them in the gym, then you're very likely to sell them a membership. Now I took a little hiatus. I was still in the reserves at the time, got deployed to Iraq. So I was gone for 18 months. Whenever I came back, I initially got into cell phones for a brief time period. I actually sold, cell phones at Costco. So if you've ever been in Costco and you see that cool little cell phone booth, actually it's really cool now. Whenever I was doing that back in 2006, it was not that cool. It was just like a little hub, right? We had a couple of different phones, but nobody goes to Costco necessarily to buy cell phones, right? That's usually the last place they go to do that. So I was always in pursuit. I was always outbound. People walking by, I had to think of creative ways to interrupt them, to get them to stop, to get them to actually talk to me, and then even consider the possibility of maybe upgrading or buying a cell phone whenever they're there to buy groceries and lawn chairs and whatever else you get at Costco. So it was funny. We used to offer rebates, and one of my things was I would always say to get people to stop was, hey, can I pay for $50 worth of your groceries today? So the cell phones had it like a $50 rebate or whatever the rebate was at the time. I would use that to say, hey, can I pay for $50 of your groceries today? And that would get people to stop. And then you'd be like, well, what are you talking about? So that was a creative way to do that. But at the same time, I had to talk to 100 or 150, who knows, maybe 200 people a day sometimes, just casting my line, right? Continually casting my line, hoping that I would get, a couple of people to stop. And then out of that couple of people, I could actually sell them a cell phone. Now, from there, I got recruited into a pharmaceutical company. So from the pharmaceutical company, that's where, again, got trained up. We had to go out and visit doctors. We had to take information, go basically cold call, door knock on doctors' offices, because they would give you a list of that doctor, of all the doctors you're supposed to see that they're most likely to prescribe the medication that you have to offer. So what did I have to do? I had to go knock on the doors. Now, visiting doctors from a pharmaceutical standpoint is a regular part of the business. So even though, however, you still had to get past gatekeepers, had to figure out times that doctor was going to be in the office. Sometimes they would only see reps in a certain window. And if it was a very popular doctor that saw a lot of patients, if you didn't get there 30 minutes early, there would be 8 reps ahead of you. And so you had to be very you had to be, you had to schedule that accordingly and map that all out and try to, work your way into all these different doctor's offices, get past the gatekeepers, host lunch. It was always pursuit. And then you had to try to educate a doctor. Think about that. You just went through a few weeks of training, and the doctor is gone through years and years and years and years of schooling. And there I am to educate them on a medication. So you had to break down those barriers on top of that. You had to develop relationships with them. You had to build rapport, right? You had to establish credibility. All that was very important because for a doctor who's been in school basically their entire life, once they've gotten out of high school, to go to that or to train in that specific profession that they're in, they're very proud of that. And then here I am, some 20-year-old person that just went to a few weeks of pharmaceutical training, right? So you had to overcome those barriers. You had to build the relationships, establish rapport, have some credibility one way or another. And so all that takes time. It's pursuit-based marketing, right? Pursuit-based sales. So we're always going after people. And that was, challenging. Now from there, for those that do know my story, I got extremely ill at that point because of a digestive disease I brought home from Iraq. But that took me out for several months. Well, that's whenever I actually started my business, my financial services business. And now we ended up getting contracts with Dallas ISD. So I was working with teachers on retirement planning. But what was I doing? Again, I was in pursuit, right? Because I had to market and reach out to teachers. First of all, 90% of them didn't even know their full retirement options or what they could contribute to or how they even, how did their retirement system work and what could they do in addition to that and where were they going to end up at the end of their career. So, that was, again, had to reach out to them. We would reach out to 100 a day to try to get 2 or 3 appointments a day. That was the whole goal, is I was trying to get 3 to 5 appointments every single day so I could go to these classrooms, meet with teachers, have a few minutes with them, and then hopefully get 2 to 3 policies out of the 3 to 5 people that I would see on helping them with their retirement accounts. Very lucrative, worked out very well because once you become an approved vendor for Dallas ISD, there's 25,000 employees inside of Dallas ISD. So, you have a captive market. That's a great thing, but still you have to market to them. You have to, go after them. And then they're going, who is this person I'm about to meet for the first time? And then all of a sudden, you're going to ask me to give you my retirement funds, tell you about my income and bank accounts and everything else that goes along with that. You had to have very intimate conversations with people in a very short time frame. So, you had to establish rapport, build your credibility, develop a relationship with them. And then you're asking for the business in that first meeting. Now, I got business all the time. Guess what? I sold memberships, a lot of gym memberships. I sold a lot of cell phones at Costco. I sold a lot of medications out in the pharmaceutical world, and I sold a lot of retirement plans to teachers. And so each one of those businesses, though, is I had to go through the numbers. I had to pursue. I had to go after people on a constant basis, and I had to talk to 100 people to try to get 10 to actually have a conversation with me to hopefully get 1 or 2 deals a day. Really, in any of the industries. That's what it boiled down to. So that's one of the big reasons why sales is such a high turnover, because first of all, it's hard. It's difficult. It's not easy to do that. So for people to do that, you have to have a lot of tenacity. You have to overcome objections. You have to be able to take rejection. And so when you're interrupting people, and I interrupted people every day to call them to see if they would come in and tour a gym, right? I interrupted people shopping at Costco to see if they might buy a cell phone. I interrupted doctors to see if they might listen to me for 2 minutes, talk about a certain medication. And then I would interrupt teachers during their day, and I always met with them during their off period. So think about that. I would go to these schools, and here's the teachers have 1 hour of off period. They've been dealing with crazy kids every single day. And then there I am, trying to sell them something. Now, I wasn't trying to sell them something. I was trying to help them plan for their future. But when you break it down, I am asking for business, right? I'm asking them to trust me. I'm asking them to invest with me. I mean, that was a big deal and a lot to do inside of, one meeting, one face-to-face meeting. So all of that to say is that I love sales. but I hated prospecting, which is what that all boils down to. I hated that part of it. And I want to say hate. I just want to say I strongly disliked. I turned it into a game a lot of times. I tried to have as much fun with it as possible. But in the end, it is a lot of rejection to just get to some yeses here and there. So that's the hard part. That's the difficulty of pursuit-based marketing, pursuit-based sales. Now, when we flip the switch on that, and this is something that I've talked about previously, is that, I had to ask myself before moving into real estate, I had to ask myself, and one of the reasons I took so long to get into real estate or to become a real estate agent. Now I've done fix and flips, rental properties, Airbnb, but I was that part-time investor. I did maybe 1 or 2 fix or flips per year. I had 7 rentals at one time. I still have Airbnb. I do love Airbnb, but that's still high turnover. I mean, a lot of goes into that, right? People coming and going all the time. But the thing is so I had experience. I never wanted to be a real estate agent respectfully. Now, the reason being is because I have a lot of successful real estate agent friends, and I know how hard they worked in the first 2, 3, 4 years of their business to establish their brand, to establish their business, to, build up that rapport, that credibility. Why? Because when in real estate, that's typically how we learn to get into real estate is pursuit-based sales, pursuit-based marketing. It is the cold calling, the door knocking, postcards, magazine ads. That costs money. But if you want to do the things that don't cost money, they take your time. That is the cold calling, the door knocking, calling FSBOs, calling expireds, working your sphere of influence. It doesn't cost you anything, but that takes a lot of time. Now, a lot of agents are willing to do that because they have more time in the beginning than they do money. But these are just things to keep in mind. So whenever I was making that transition over 2020, because my financial services business shut down during 2020 when all the schools shut down and I didn't see it end in sight, I was like, well, if I'm going to make the transition, this is the time to do it. But how do I approach this as a business owner? How do I attract business? What I realized was whenever I got out of selling gym memberships or cell phones or pharmaceuticals or financial services, there was nothing there. All the different outside forces affected my business, stopped me cold in my tracks, and I didn't have anything to show for it. It's like if I stopped working, even though it was my own business, the income would stop. Or if I stepped away or moved into another company, my income stopped. There was nothing left over. And why is that? It's because I was the focal point of my business. Everything was dependent upon me. And that's not the best way to run a business. Maybe it is in the beginning when you have to bootstrap and you have to save money and you have to figure out how everything works. But as soon as you can scale, as soon as you can start adding people into the mix, that's what you want to start to focus on. But now, these are the questions that I ask myself. If I'm going to move into real estate, how do I attract business? How do I bring it to me? How do I get people to want to work with myself? Because I'm competing with everybody in Dallas. I'm in Dallas, Texas, one of the biggest markets in the country for real estate. There's established brands and brokerages and people that have been doing this for decades. And I'm just supposed to walk in and send out some postcards and attract some business? Not likely. So I knew I needed to think differently. I needed to pursue a different avenue, and I wanted to attract business. I knew that would be through social media if I wanted to do it at the least amount of money as well, because when I started out, I didn't have a budget. I just didn't want to spend on a budget because I know you could drop $3,000 on postcards, not going to get you anywhere likely in the beginning. You have to be consistent on spending that money. So I just thought differently. I had to ask myself different questions. What was the problem with myself and my businesses before? How do I change that? How do I attract business? How can I put myself in a position to scale and move forward from there? So that's what got me into thinking, okay, social media is the best way to do that. And the quickest way to do that if you do it correctly. And so therefore, I looked at Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. None of them really set well with me. That's where everybody was talking about, especially in 2020. They were definitely talking about TikTok because almost every real estate agent was waking up with 10,000 followers at the time. But again, I know agents that do very, very well on TikTok. It wasn't for me. Whenever I looked into it and I dug into it a little bit more, and I thought, not really fitting my personality. And I didn't see a path. I didn't see a plan that I could implement there. But YouTube was my last choice. So once I started to dig into YouTube and research YouTube, then I started to learn and understand more about the platform. And this is very key, is if you want to be successful on any of the platforms, you have to understand these platforms from a producer side versus a consumer side. Now, what I love about YouTube is not a social media platform. YouTube is a search engine. So therefore, that's why I was able to understand, once I started to dig in a lot more and plan accordingly, that, okay, I think I see something here. I think I see a way I can build up a plan, a business plan, actually create content that can likely attract the people I want to work with. And so that's where I started to, build out that plan. And I actually made a business plan. Ask yourself, before you've launched on any social media platform, did you actually make a plan? Did you put together a business plan? If you treat these platforms like a hobby, they will pay you like a hobby. If you treat them like a business, they can pay you like a business. So I understood that I needed a business plan. I wanted to understand it from the producer side, and I wanted to build that out so I didn't question what I was going to be doing next. And so I laid all of that out. Now, here's the great thing to going into attraction-based marketing is once I did that, and that whole story is definitely, video content for another day. But once I was able to do that, the videos, number one, scale yourself. And I talked about how do I not make myself, even though I am the focal point of the business or one of the focal points, how do I position myself to be able to remove myself? Well, video, first of all, key. All video is communication and sales at scale. So I've been selling for 20 years. The problem with me, though, is I was selling to individuals. I was telling my story or telling, helping them understand the benefits and the features of these products and services one-to-one. Every time the day ended, my conversations ended with those clients. I couldn't scale past that. So every time I left, turned off the lights and went home for the day, that was it. I was starting over every single day. So that's not scalable. So video allows you to sell yourself. All I do now is exactly what I'm doing now is talking to the camera. The camera is not my client. The camera is my customer. The camera is, the person that I'm trying to get my message across. And the great thing about that video is that it's going to go on somewhere, some type of platform, somewhere where they can find it, and it's going to live forever. And then I'm going to make a second and a third and a fourth and a fifth video. And all of that's going to build up. So whenever somebody finds that content for the first time, they're going to have more options as you grow your library of content. They're going to have more options for you to be able to watch or for them to be able to watch. And what happens whenever people watch people over and over again? They start to develop a relationship with them. They start to build rapport. They start to see things in that person that are kind of like themselves. They look forward to seeing their next video. And we've all done this with every single TV show that we watch the entire series. Doesn't matter if it's simple as Seinfeld or Game of Thrones. If you watch Game of Thrones, you probably identify with one of those characters. You're probably like, oh, I'm like that guy or that. Believe it or not, I've never seen Game of Thrones. I know. But one of these days I'll get around to watch it. Seinfeld, I've seen episodes here or there. But the thing is that Friends, the whole reason there's 6 friends on Friends is because they know that it covers pretty much every personality. And if you ever were a fan of that show and your friends were fans of that show, you probably said, oh, you're like Ross and you're like Rachel and I'm like Joey. And, you start to identify, you start to really admire and also sometimes not admire qualities in certain people. Maybe you watch a show and there's one character you really can't stand. Well, if you had your choice, maybe it's the real estate shows. Think about this. Most real estate agents watch all the real estate shows. Not most of them, some of them. And they probably identify with one of those real estate agents. There's probably a real estate agent on one of those shows, even though you watch that show, you don't like that real estate agent. You're like, oh, something about that person I really don't like. But that's okay, because if you had a choice to work with one of those agents, whether it's coming from $1 million listing or fix or flop or selling sunset even, or maybe that's the one you watch Selling Sunset and you're like, oh, I can't stand anybody on that show, Fixer Upper, right? You could watch those different shows. And you had to work with one realtor. You would be able to choose one because you're attracted to them. You're attracted to their personality. you kind of say, oh, I'm pretty sure this person is the same way in real life, so that's why I would like to work with them. And that's what we're doing through video, is we're having the content out there for people to find on their own. And that's the great thing about YouTube, is people find it on their own. If it's, if they're out there searching, and then they choose to watch videos on their own. Then the great thing is YouTube's going to promote your videos to them if they watch one of your videos. And we know this to be true because we've all made the mistake of watching one stupid cat video, and then all of a sudden all you get in your feed the next month is cat videos on YouTube, right? So be careful about what you click on in YouTube. And so that's the case. If somebody clicks on your video, then YouTube is likely going to serve them another one videos and another one. If they watch a second or a third video, it's probably game over at that point, because YouTube's going to just feed them more and more of your content. Every time they log in, one of your videos will show up. And so what happens is they start to develop a relationship. You on the video does the work for you. It establishes the relationship. It builds the rapport. It creates the credibility. And that's the key component of all of this, is that you're letting the video do the work for you, versus what I used to do all on my own all the time. And every single day I had to start over. And when those businesses came to a stop, I had to start over. And now the way we're positioned in our business right now is that I can travel, I can go to conferences, I can take time off, I can do what I need to do. Videos are still getting published. Homes are still being sold. Everything's running functionally. And that's a big, that is number one, my partner, Travis Plumb. Number two, we have an amazing team behind us, because I stopped saying, how do I do all this myself? And started saying, who can help us with this? Who is the best person for the job? Because me doing 10 things, I'm going to give about 10% effort to all those 10 things, right? So what can I focus on 100% that's going to give the best return to the business? And who can I put in a place that can give 100% to that part of the business that needs their attention, and that we can grow from there? So ultimately, the point that I'm going to close up here, and then we're going to bring in a few of our guests. I see Andrew in here. I see Seth, Lori, and we've got our client success manager, Chrissy, as well. I'm going to bring them into here so we can open up the dialogue and have a quick discussion about this, is that allow video to do the heavy lifting for you. And this is what I really want to make the point, is that since getting into real estate, we've been in a rejection-free business. We haven't been rejected by anybody. Now, maybe in the comments. I mean, sometimes the comments get a little interesting, right? But otherwise, I've never cold called, never door knocked, never sent out a postcard, never passed out my card in Starbucks. Now, nothing wrong with that at all whatsoever. I know that can be effective, but you have to ask yourself, is it the most efficient way to get business? But also, does it come with a lot of rejection? And if you don't like rejection, then I think video is the best thing you can do for yourself and your business to have a rejection-free business, because nobody has called us, as far as I know, nobody has called us and said, I absolutely hate you. I don't want to work with you, or you know what? I was watching your videos the other day and I've just decided you're not the real estate agent for me. They've never said that. The people that call us want to do business with us. They've already made the decision. They want to do the business with us. And so that cuts out all the selling right there. Is all we have to do is provide them the highest level of service possible, and we've got them completely locked in. And that's the game changer right there. Let the videos do all the heavy lifting, all the hard work, all the prospecting. Think about this. I'll end on this stat. Let's bring in some people. Is that our channel last year was watched 66,600 hours. You divide that by 24 hours in a day, that's equivalent to 7.6 years. So even if I tried to prospect myself, the channel prospected for a 7.6 years in a 1-year time frame. I could never duplicate that. I could not even hire enough inside salespeople to make phone calls. I could never door knock enough. I could have an army of door knockers, and I would probably never get that. Actually, we had over 9 million impressions to the channel last year. That means YouTube placed our videos in front of 9 million sets of eyeballs. And this year, through June now, we're almost already at the 66,000 watch hours that took us all last year to gain. So this year, we're projecting to prospect, our channel's projecting to prospect for us almost 15 years worth in a 1-year time frame. That is a true compound effect. All right. So hopefully that was a lot of fun there. That made some sense. What's up? I'm going to bring in Lori real quick. Lori, do you have your camera? I'm going to go to Andrew first. Lori or Seth, if you got cameras, I would like to bring in people with cameras. Andrew, what's up? How you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you. How are you doing today?
Doing well, doing well. Where are you calling from?
St. Augustine, Florida.
Oh, that's right. Good old St. Augustine, Florida. So, first of all, any thoughts get drummed up from that, or did you have any questions or anything that you're working on right now that you'd like to share?
I do have a question for you, but as far as what you said goes, it's pretty self-explanatory. I work by referral. But I have to constantly keep calling. And what I've seen is the minute that stops, I'll get some sales, but they go way down.
Yeah. So
it's this constant, all the time. But I can see what you're saying with the videos. They build up and they just keep doing it for you. The only question
that's a really great point is that if you're making calls, let's say you call 2 hours a day and you're very consistent on that, clearly that's a way to generate business. But the second you hang up that phone, the lead generation stops, right?
Exactly.
And if you want to go on vacation or spend time with the family, then the lead generation stops. And this is what I will say here is that I believe video is the best thing you can do for your family and your spouse. If you've ever gotten in trouble for not being present, right? Not being present on vacation or not being present on the weekends or not being present in the evenings because you're probably thinking about, oh, I'm not lead generating right now. Oh, I need to call this person. Oh, I need to do that. Video, I believe, is the best thing you can do for your friends, your family, your kids, whatever it is that you might be struggling in your personal life, because we feel very good to travel, to go to conferences, to, take a day off on the weekend if we need to, because the videos are always there working nonstop. And so we don't have to be concerned about it.
But the question I have for you, though, is, okay, so your videos are in front of potential buyers or agents, whatnot. What websites do you use? Because most people just ask, most of the agents that I've seen on YouTube, it's like, hey, call this number. But I've noticed you've got something, it doesn't look like Calendly. It looks like something else, but you go through it, ask a few questions, and then they put in their info, and then, so that's how you get their information. Is that correct?
Correct. Yep.
So do you mind if I ask what website you use? Yeah.
No, not at all. So that's a CRM we use called High Level. Now we actually, we have a white label version of that to where we can offer that to anybody that wants it. No requirement at all whatsoever, but just depends. If you have a current CRM, that should work. But for that to build out, what I love about High Level is kind of an all-encompassing everything type of CRM. It's really kind of a model of ClickFunnels. It's Calendly, it's MailChimp, it's all these different systems that normally people have to piece all those stuff together is built into one. It's like pipeline, all these different aspects. So for us, since you asked, this was not planted, but yeah, I mean, if you go to the Real CRM, which is REEL, therealcrm.com, we offer a demo, I think 2 weeks for free.
Yeah, it's our enterprise account, and so I put that that link in the chat for you. So if you want to just click on that link, that will take you over there, and you can take a look at it.
Oh, cool! All right, I'm on my phone. I didn't even know this was coming up today, but I'll just write down this website.
Awesome. How long have you been doing real estate?
Full time, 8 years. I was a sheriff's deputy in South Florida, which is 4 hours south of us.
So you're a people person. So this is perfect for you.
It comes in handy. I just had a lunch appointment with an attorney, and basically they're going to start giving me their probate stuff. Like, hey, somebody died, somebody got divorced, whatever, they need to sell it. But yeah, they like the fact that I'm just matter of fact and just, boom, boom, boom. So
absolutely. Well, and I mean, with you dealing with people anyway, I mean, that just translates so well to video. I mean, that's really, I think too. And, Levi, when he pops back on here, he can kind of attest to this, but really just that authenticity when you are really wanting to work with people. Video, there's no better way to get that out there than video. You're just doing that in mass and at scale. So that's what makes this system so powerful, is it's just basically taking what you do every day and all of your personal set of skills that you have and just putting it to the masses. So
all right, let's see if we can get Lori in here.
Hey guys.
Hey, what's up?
Not much, just hanging out.
Yeah, remind us where you're calling from.
We are in Sarasota, so on the Gulf side of Florida.
Did you have a question or comment or?
No, so my husband Todd and I are doing this together. We have been MLOs for quite some time. He just got his realtor's license. I'm getting my real estate license next week or the week after. And we just thought that this would be a good shot, especially with loans down so much, to possibly do a one-stop shop.
Okay. Yep,
so it's a little bit different angle, but no one in our market seems to be doing that angle. So we're hoping it might work.
Yeah. And I'm sorry, I missed which market are you in?
Sarasota.
Okay. Sarasota.
Florida.
Yeah. So, yeah. And I think what we really work with mainly with real estate agents really applies to LOs as well, because I think this is where most mortgage officers, loan officers typically go wrong, because they have a lot of good information, which is great, but they typically start to educate people on the escrow process, the title process, the appraisal process. And from what we've seen, nobody has ever called us and asked us about that initially, right? They want to know about the area. They want to know about the schools. They want to know about neighborhoods in this price range or that price range. So people are always researching first. People researching that type of information that most loan officers talk about usually is they're under contract with somebody else already, and so you're educating people on the back end versus capturing them in the research phase before they've even decided to hire an agent or a loan officer. And so that, I think everything that we talk about is really works best for mortgage officers. Not that you can't do it. And I know there's definitely some loan officer channels I've seen out there, but they've also been well established. They've been on the platform for several years. I believe kind of how we position videos and content, positions you to generate business the quickest way possible.
So we will do what you do. We will just do neighborhoods general content, because otherwise everything has to go through my compliance department. And we don't want to do any of that. We just want to capture people moving down here and see if we can help them out, and maybe help them out from, both sides, real estate as well as getting a loan.
Okay. Awesome. Well, great to meet you then. And that was, hopefully that was helpful. So
yeah, thanks.
All right, great. I'm going to bring up, let me see. I'm going to bring up Andre. If you're ready, hopefully you're ready, man. I'm catching you. I see you got some Honey Badger swag in the background. What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm all in, Levi. I'm all in. Now, we just started this. I just caught the end of your chat here. So can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I have a little bit of delay, but that's something we'll definitely work on.
Yeah, I can hear you too.
Okay. So yeah, basically I just started this and I just grabbed the last part of your conversation. I did send Chrissy my first rough videos this morning. Had to learn how to put them on Google Drive. That's how old I am, I guess. Then we're just trying to get going on video 2 today.
Awesome. Yep. I'll take a look at that and let you know.
Yeah, no real questions. Just excited to get going and trying to get all the ins and outs of it. And
well, let us know.
Another person from Florida, Tampa, Florida.
Oh, all right.
Perfect place for video.
We're gonna have all of Florida covered at the end of this call.
Yep.
So. Well, cool. All right. Well, so is it Andres or Andre?
Andres.
Andres. All right, Andres. Well, let us know if you need any, if you have any questions. And also, we're bringing on a video manager, a new video manager. Actually, Chrissy's been our video manager, but she's also been our manager of pretty much everything else in our business as well. So we're gonna give her a little relief, bring on a specific video manager as well. So looking forward to that to help, make sure that we get all the video editing and everything dialed in for everyone that's utilizing that. So we appreciate you and keep us up to date. We want to know the first time you get that first call, the first time you get, the first showing, and especially when you get the first contract, that's always going to be exciting. And so just stay consistent. Yeah. Stay consistent and, follow the process and it'll work for you. And you're in one of the top relocation markets in the country. So you'll be able to capture those people.
Excited about it. And I do have one question. Can you guys grab any part of that video that we're sending in to do reels, or do you guys even do reels, or if I wanted to get going with that as well?
We do have a shorts service in beta right now. So we do have, it's an add-on service. It's not something that's included in just the basic video editing, but yes, we do have an add-on service for that.
Okay, so I'll get with you after that.
Yeah.
After this. Okay,
Sounds good.
Thank you, guys.
All right. Thank you, Andres. Talk soon. Let's see who we got. Seth. Seth, you got a camera? Oh, I want to bring you on, but you know, we got to That's all right.
We've got a couple of people who have questions in the chat too.
What's up, Seth? Are you there? Are you with us? Oh, really? I'm not seeing the chat. I get, where am I? Oh, private chat. Oh, there it is. Cool. Yep. I thought, man, nobody's texting in the chat. I thought we did a terrible job or something. Nobody's interested. Seth, I'll bring you back here in a minute. Let's see. Okay. I'd love to ask. So Jim asked, let me see. Can I bring this stuff up? No. How come? So I must be missing something. But Jim asked, I'd love to ask about average view duration if there's a time. So what we always say is that a video is as long as it needs to be, right? So, you know, you want to have the video be as long as you need to provide the information that's necessary, but don't overtalk it as well. So, and don't worry about ending at specific times. So if your video is 9 minutes and 37 seconds, just end it at 9 minutes and 37 seconds. Don't try to drag it out to 10 or 12 or 13 minutes. But if it's 25 minutes, you know, hopefully that's chock full of valuable information, will hold the viewer's attention, and you should be fine. You know, I think for us, we typically fall between the 15 to 25 minute average range, you know, and the thing is that a lot of people also wonder, how can they talk for 15 or 20 or 25 minutes? And what it comes down to is that you don't have to. You're really, a 15-minute video can be 5 3-minute videos that is just edited together. So if you understand transitions, and as you go through the process and do this more efficiently, you're going to understand transitions. So if you need to talk for 3 minutes, which hopefully any real estate agent can talk about any subject of their city or neighborhood proficiently for 3 minutes, just understand to have a beginning and an end point, not like ending the video, but a transition so that the editor can have a clean cut and then bring in the new clip. So, you know, for me, if I'm out in a neighborhood, and you probably see this, you'll see whenever we cut from whenever I'm talking to driving footage, or when I come back, you know, from the driving footage or something else, I usually start out with, or I end with, okay, I'll drive you around this neighborhood so you can get a better idea. And then let's go check out the next house. And that's it. I stop because that's a clean cut. It'll cut into driving footage. And then whenever that I start at the next stop, I'm like, okay, so we're here at our next stop. You know, something just that simple gives each of those videos a beginning and an end in itself. And the cool thing is that 3 minutes could be a video on its own. You could actually chop up that 3 minutes into 3 different reels on top of that, if you kind of have some good points to go back and forth on that. So that's something else to keep in mind. So always think about that. Give the information that is needed, but don't overtalk it. Just provide value. And then also, you don't have to talk for 15 minutes straight, but understand your beginning and ending of a clip so that you can have an easy transition into the next one. So let me see. Let's see. So Jim, okay. Are you answering this in the chat already, Chrissy, or?
Nope, I haven't answered that one yet. He was wondering what percentage of our videos are viewed as far as just our average view duration on our videos.
Our average view. Okay, well, I completely misread that. So,
but it was a good answer still. I misunderstood the question too.
Yeah, I mean, we're typically between 30 to 50%. So it just depends on the video, you know. It's between 30 to 50%. Clearly, the higher, the better. But also, I think I'm okay with people jumping off. They say, you see in the analytics, like there's a huge drop off usually within 30 seconds. I mean, YouTube tracks this because number one, it doesn't count as a view unless it's been viewed at least 30 seconds on YouTube. Now, if people jump off for that, that's why I start out a lot of videos the same way. So you're thinking about moving to Frisco, Texas, Plano, Texas. I mean, if somebody's not thinking about moving to that area, I'm okay with them jumping off. And if they jump off within a minute or so, because that's not the content for them, I'm kind of okay with that. Because if they're not looking to move to Frisco and maybe they want to move into Plano, hopefully they go find the other Plano videos, or maybe YouTube recommends it to them. And that's really the key thing. Or if somebody's not in the market at all whatsoever and they just stumbled across this video and they're like, well, how did I come across this? And they click on it and they're like, that's not my audience, or I'm not looking to do that. I'll never move to Texas. I'm okay with them jumping off. So, a lot of those things come into play, and so the average view duration is clearly key, because that is one of the biggest metrics of YouTube, is how they plan to recommend your other content, or at least other videos, based on how long people watch your current videos. So yeah, we typically range between 30 to 50%.
There's one other question towards the top. Juan had a picture,
okay.
Or not a picture, a question at the top asking, what kind of content would you recommend if you're targeting motivated seller leads? This is one of my favorite questions.
Okay, so I can bring up, if people are in the comments, so if you're on the live stream, and if you're in the comments, I can bring up your comments. I guess I can't bring up the private chat, so I'm not sure where people are doing that, but let me see. Okay. What was that? Say that again real quick, Chrissy.
Yeah, so Juan was asking, what kind of content would you recommend if you're targeting motivated seller leads?
Well, I have a whole theory behind that. Actually, we're going to be putting a new module in our course, so I'm gonna save. Even I give a lot of information away for free. That's something that I'm still testing out. Although we just posted a listing video on our channel last week, and you'll see it's been the fastest growing video we've ever had. I mean, it's already broken 31 to 32,000 views in the first week. I mean, it literally went straight up, and I hadn't seen that type of views come out of any of our videos. We're usually pretty steady Eddie. Now, we had some back in November, December that also took off, but it wasn't like a straight, when you look at the analytics, it was like a straight rocket ship. I wonder if I can test out here on sharing my screen. Share. So can I share screen? I wonder. Let's see this real quick. Chrissy, can you see my analytics?
Nope, I'm still just seeing your screen. Oh, let's see. Maybe it's just delayed. Yep, now I can.
Okay, so you can see here. I mean, look at this. Our average view duration or views, 3,400 per day. You can see pretty steady Eddie, and then all of a sudden, 17,900 views in one day. And then you look at subscribers. I mean, we had a huge subscriber day that day. But you can go back and look at content, and you can see the video that did that. This $3.8 million listing video. You can see here the huge jump. This was pretty much straight up. It's starting to level out a little bit more, but you're still talking about, 140, 120 views an hour right now. This was not less than 10 days ago, brought us an extra 137 subscribers, 31.1 thousand views. And, this is the type of content, if you want, now you say motivated sellers, I think creating content like this, where you have a videographer, where you have, you can create that video in an evergreen type of format. And so we're going to get into that. We're going to include a module on the course about that. We also just released this one, our second one as well. It's doing, let's see here, it's starting to tick up again right now. So the first one, really, all those views, that McKinney property really happened about 6 days in. So it started to do well, but then after 6 days is whenever it really took off. This one started out better than usual. And now you can see it's starting to hit a little uptick. Not that much, but you can kind of see a little bit of a hockey stick starting to form right now. And I would guess probably here, I mean, this is only, 2 days old, this video, but already over 1,000 views in 2 days. And, we could see that jump probably by this weekend, which is what happened on the last one. So therefore, let me see, bring me up. All right, I think I'm getting the hang of this thing right now. I just need a better internet connection, right? So hopefully that was kind of cool for people to see there. Let's see, where are we at on questions there, Chrissy?
I think that was everything that was in the chat.
Okay, excellent, thank you. That's what he was looking for. Great. Okay, and there's the link for the Real CRM. We're gonna, I don't know, I'm gonna put that in the comments as well. I'm not really sure. By the way, if you're watching, feel free, please give us a thumbs up. That always helps out, right? I think it does. So we'll see. I'll put that in the comments as well, so you have the Real CRM if you want to check that out. Again, that's no obligation or anything like that. It's just if for those, most of the time once people go through the course or anything like that, if they don't like their current CRM or they haven't established one yet, then it's a great way to just basically copy everything that we have. So I think you get 2 weeks free on there. We'll see. Okay, well, I'm going to try, let me see. I'm going to try Seth one more time. I'm going to bring you up, Seth. If you've got a question, even though your camera's off, you can unmute if you got a question. Otherwise, I think so far, mostly, we got Jim. Jim's back there now. Seth going once, going twice. Maybe he's just playing it in the background. So, all right. Well, Jim jumped on, so let's bring him up, and we can probably close out after that if he wants to join us. What you up to, Jim?
Hey, what's going on? Lovely background I've got here upstairs.
Yeah, it looks like you're definitely in the extra space, right?
Yep. We call him a frog here in Charleston. Finished room over garage.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
well, cool. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I appreciate that because
you're welcome.
I wasn't sure if I was doing something massively wrong with what I've got or if it's just kind of a lower average on a real estate video. Because I know for the creators along the lines of Mr. Beast or Ryan Trahan or whatever, they're looking for 60 to 70%. I was like, dang, I don't know what I'm doing wrong here, but I'm hovering right around 50. So I guess that's not so bad because you guys are obviously turning a lot of business with 30 to 50% there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then also it's going to go down with the increased views as well, and that's what I've learned, especially like when you have the video, like the McKinney listing video, go to 30,000 views in 1 week. The average view duration is, it's down there, but a lot of the videos that we've had take off have not had the highest view durations. It's just YouTube has picked them up for whatever reason, and when they push that out to a lot of people, I believe that's not necessarily always hitting your exact target audience, which I believe also brings the view duration down, because if somebody's not interested or they click on it or, they jump away, that's going to bring it down. But ultimately, you think about Mr. Beast. I mean, if you watch one of his videos, the reason they capture, I believe, so much attention is watch how much they pattern interrupt, how much they jump cut. I mean, if you watch a Mr. Beast video, it's probably almost every 2 seconds they're cutting to a new frame. They are something's happening, it's changing camera angles, it's cutting to a new frame. If you watch, which I did this only for research, I watched Selling Sunset, only for research purposes. And if you watch Selling Sunset on Netflix, what I counted, I'm pretty sure what I counted was they do a frame change almost every 2 seconds. Think about that. So if that's a 25, or are the episodes 50 minutes? The episodes might be 50 minutes, but literally, even if it's one person talking, they have 3 to 5 camera angles, for that one person. And so even if they're going to talk for a full minute, they're going to have 30 different frame changes within that 1 minute. Of talking. So they'll just switch, from all these different angles. And then they're going to show expressions of somebody else like nodding or, I know, I can tell you're lying, so they're always switching off every 2 seconds. So I know I don't want to pain anybody to this, but go watch a real estate show, watch Selling Sunset or $1 Million Listing, and count the frame changes. Whenever I say frame changes, that's angle changes, people talking, expressions. It's just anytime you see boom, boom, flip. And that's, if you look at Mr. Beast, he's like boom, 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 boom. Me, I don't know. We haven't graduated to that just yet. Yeah.
So I believe I've heard you speak before. 90 days for you to get your first client. Is that correct?
Under contract. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we got the first call at 30 days. So
Right.
First phone call at 30 days.
All right. Thanks for all you do.
All right. Thank you, Jim. All right. So we'll, I think, Chrissy, I don't know. I'm going to say that was semi-successful. I think definitely we're going to work on our internet connection here at the office. Not the best, apparently. So, although now all of a sudden I'm getting full bars, full bars now, full signal as soon as we get ready to wrap it up. All right. So hey, we got some stuff to work on, but thank you all. Hopefully if you found this helpful, please comment below. Let us know, give us a thumbs up, comment, say thank you, helpful, anything to just provide some feedback. For those that came on this stream, we only posted that link in our private Facebook group because we provide them exclusive access to this. So, being a part of that group, then that's how they got the link here. So don't want to publish that on YouTube just yet, right? But anyways, thank you for joining us today. Chrissy, thanks for helping out. And we'll get here next Wednesday, 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. So until next time, we'll see you then.
Thank you for joining us on today's podcast. If you're interested in partnering with us to access our YouTube course and coaching all for free, schedule a call at 5starstrategycall.com.